Hello, St. Patrick community. Anna Trana here, and I have the pleasure of speaking with St. Patrick parishioner Richard White today. Richard is the head coordinator and head leader of the North Metro Job Network. So let's just go ahead and get started. Richard, I'm really glad that you're here with us.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I've heard your name often throughout my short time here, and I've always been like, wow, I want to know what that guy does. So
Sure.
Here we are.
Yeah.
And
Happy to help.
I think our St. Patrick community will also be really excited to hear more about the good work that you do. Whether it's for their own benefit or for anybody that they might know, and to just, of course, spread the word for the good work that you're doing.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and just get started. Why don't you explain to us what exactly the Job Network is and how it got started?
Sure. We got started back in 2012. I was unemployed. So a lot of the resources that I have are from my own experience. Plus, over the years, I've been a hiring manager multiple times. So I know how interviews go. I know how to appropriately interview someone. And I know the difference between a good interview and a bad interview. Yeah. So I use that background to help people navigate through the interview process. I know how I used to teach resume writing at Century College years ago. But it really hasn't changed that much. And so I've kept my format up to date and things like that. We have those available for people to help them write their resumes. We help them with cover letters, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever they need to get a job,
yeah, we
can help them for free.
Yeah. So do you help people who may find themselves in a place of unemployment or just looking for a new experience? Maybe
both.
Their job isn't fulfilling for them, but they're not really sure where to go.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
We advertise ourselves as underemployed or unemployed. So I have, over the years, had many people come in that were looking for that next step and they didn't quite know how to do it.
Yeah.
And even at their own companies, they thought, how do I approach a different manager for an interview within the company that I'm in right now? So we give them those helpful hints as to just how to go about it. And a lot of times, I'm not going to say every time because I don't know, but I know a lot of times people will come back and tell me, wow, thanks a lot. Because of what you told me, I got that promotion, or I got the job I wanted, or I left that company and went to another company where they had the job that I wanted. So it's either or, underemployed or not employed at all.
And so it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a very unique experience for people.
It can be.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
I've had so many different scenarios come to meetings that the thing that I think helps me the best, and I really have to be honest about this, is just I go in and set up the meeting and let God do his thing.
Yeah.
If I tried to do half of what he does, I would mess it up so bad.
Yeah.
And so I pretty much just let it run the way it's supposed to go. We start with prayer, we end with prayer. In between there, we go around the room, everybody gives a 30-second commercial, depending on how many people are in the room, on who they are, what they're looking for, and what they were doing. Could be two different things. That maybe they want to change career paths. Everybody else around the table is listening. So you may have a resource for me, and at some point in the evening, you would share that information with me. That's the networking part, okay? There are other things to networking. I tell people network no matter where you are. I have networked in gas stations when I'm pumping gas. I have networked in coffee shops. I used to, when I was unemployed, I used to go to Caribou and get a cup of coffee, and I would nurse that thing for half the day and just listen to people around me. And I've gotten a couple jobs that way. Because you hear someone saying, boy, I wish I had this resource. I wish I had this talent.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I heard you. I couldn't help but hear that. I don't want to interfere, but I have a resume out in my car. I'm your solution.
Yeah.
Let me go get my resume and let's meet. That's it. It's just that simple. People hesitate talking to other people. And so we have to get past that fear.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, between this week and the next meeting, I want you to network with 10 different people. And you come in and tell me how it went.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they're done with the 10 people, they're so comfortable doing it, they'll come back and 9 out of 10 times they're telling me, I think I talked to about 30 people. Great, that's fine, that's what it's all about.
So
that's the networking.
So your meetings, when do your meetings happen here at St. Patrick?
Here at St. Patrick's, they're the second and fourth Tuesday evening.
Okay.
Between 6:30 and 8:30. So we have 2 hours to just concentrate on what their needs are.
Yeah. And that's not always the same group every time.
No.
Correct?
No, people come and go.
Yeah.
I have even opened it up to family members.
Mm-hmm.
Being unemployed myself, I know what happens at home because the wife comes home from work. Oh, who'd you talk to today? Did you get any interviews? What are you doing? Just watching TV?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do is we invite them in so they can see that, number one, we're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they can see what other people are doing to try to find work. Mm-hmm. And many times I've had kids will bring their teenagers with them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden on the way out, the teenager's going, hey mom, here's an idea. They're coming up with ideas to help mom get a job. And it works.
That's so
it's
incredible.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've had people sit there and cry. And I'll ask them, what's the matter? Are you okay?
Yeah.
I never realized what he was going through or what she was going through.
Yeah.
I never realized just how big this is.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden things turn around at home. And it's like, how can I encourage you today? Mm. How can I help you? You know, and the third degree questions go away. Mm-hmm. And it's just wonderful to watch that happen.
Oh my gosh.
It really is.
Yeah. That's amazing. Not only is it an objective, practical need
mm-hmm.
that people have, but it's a ministry of such love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really
I've even had little kids come in and sit in the back of the room and do their homework.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the night, pretty soon the kids are up to the table and they're going, Dad, have you ever thought of this idea? Shh. No, Dad, it's a good idea. And I'll tell them, Dad, listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. We try to keep it low key. Mm-hmm. Whatever is talked about in the room stays in the room. Mm-hmm. There's anonymity. Mm-hmm. I know I've had a few times where some of the priests have wanted to come in, and I tell them, you're very, very welcome, but get rid of the collar at the door. Mm. You come in a denim shirt or blue jeans or whatever, because there are parishioners here too. Mm-hmm. And now it's almost like Big Brother's watching? Mm-hmm. No, that's not fair to them. Mm-hmm. So consequently now, Father Allen has not, and Father Bloom, when he was here, never came into the room while the group was meeting. But they're certainly welcome to. Yeah. There's nothing secretive going on. Mm-hmm. I just don't want the people that are looking for work are tense enough. Mm-hmm. And to have that move into the room just adds to their anxiety. Yeah. And they don't need that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of the way we do it. So
18 years,
mm-hmm.
4,600 people that
pretty close,
place jobs. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, really incredible. Can you share a little bit about the process of what it looks like in some of these meetings, and if you have any resources that you want to share?
Sure.
To give our lovely viewers kind of a little snapshot
mm-hmm.
of what they could expect.
Yeah. When the meeting starts, like I say, we start with prayer, we end with prayer. In between there, we go around the room, everybody gives a 30-second commercial. Then we start around the room and I ask people, what specific questions do you have? And that kind of sets the tone for the evening. Mm-hmm. So, and I can be pretty flexible. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they'll come in with, how do recruiting firms work? How do contract firms work? How do I get unemployment? How do I sign up for unemployment? Do I really get unemployment? Mm-hmm. We can help them with all of that. I have all of that information available to them. They want to know the details of, my resume just doesn't seem to be working. Well, let's look at the format. And a lot of it, most of the time, is formatting. Mm-hmm. Some of the resumes that are out there are just, even as a hiring manager, if I get a series of resumes that are very difficult to read, like any hiring manager, I don't read them. Mm-hmm. I'll skim it very quickly. Mm-hmm. Managers or hiring managers usually have about 50 seconds to read an interview. So what I tell people is, let's concentrate on that first block of words. That's your key, your summary statement. If that grabs them by the throat, they will read the rest of your resume. If it doesn't, so if you come in and you say like, I want to be a forklift operator. So, okay.
Yeah.
So do probably 500 other people
Yeah.
that I have resumes for.
Yeah.
But if you go in and say, I want to be able to demonstrate to you my value add with running a forklift and showing you my safety record, my consistency in safety year after year, some of the safety awards I've gotten, some of the background knowledge that I have, I want to be able to demonstrate for you some of the techniques that I've used to help run the department more efficiently and more cost effectively. That's the stuff that grabs someone. Now you've made this forklift operator sound like, wow, this person really knows their stuff. I want to listen to them.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, like, if I were writing that about myself, I'd have so much more confidence about myself.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is exactly who I am,
Absolutely.
but it's so hard to write that about ourselves.
You have to get over
Yeah.
that, and that's what we help people do, is get over that hurdle. You're the only one that's going to blow your own horn. Well, I'm not saying be arrogant about it. There's a difference. But definitely show value, show your confidence, show a little passion.
Yeah.
Employers love it when people are passionate. And when you do things that are not so much out of the box, but different. Because you have to differentiate yourself from the other 300 people that are sitting out there waiting for interviews. So there's little things you can do, even in your resume, that will differentiate you from anyone else. And I show you how to do that.
Yeah.
I've had many, many people come back and tell me that, wow, ever since I did that, the phone doesn't stop ringing. I get interviews, and that's great.
Yeah.
I help them set up their schedule for the week. Monday, Tuesday, you make calls. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you interview. Saturday and Sunday, you're off. That's your time.
Boundaries.
Be with your family.
Yeah.
Do things as a family that you can. But then Monday, you make your phone calls again. Tuesday, you make your phone calls. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are your interview days. And it works.
It works.
There are little things that you can do that, okay, I'll divulge a secret. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. If on the weekend, Saturday morning, take 10 minutes. Go down to your computer. Log into whatever websites you have your resume on. Now, I currently have mine on 108 websites, and I don't tell people to do that. There are 5 that you really, really, truly need. And only of the 5, 3 of them are really key. But if you go out on Saturday and you open up those 3 resumes in edit mode, change one word. And it's as simple as deleting a word and keying it right back in again, and make sure you don't misspell it. And then hit save. As soon as you hit save, your resume becomes brand new again for the next week.
Oh.
So when the hiring managers, directors, or whoever goes in and says, I want to see all the resumes that are new this week,
Yeah.
your resume will come out every time.
Wow.
And I have had employers call me and say, I ran searches today and your resume comes out every time. I don't know that I have anything for you, but let's meet, let's talk. You got some kind of background I want to know about.
Yeah.
Great, so I get an interview.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's set up for Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So,
That's awesome.
and it does, that in and of itself will generate phone calls. Now, will you get garbage mail? Yes, you will. Insurance companies will email you wanting you to be a broker. And if that's what you want, fine, do it. You'll get all kinds of ads to buy insurance or to do other things. I always figured that's why God created the delete key. You just highlight it and delete. Don't even open it. Just delete, delete, delete. And look at the ones that are really good for you.
Yeah.
And watch for scams. They're out there.
Yeah. So the resume is the first step because that gets
Yes.
you the interview. And then say you get this interview, but I'm not confident on my skills to go into this interview. Is there content and ways that you help people through that process?
Yes, we have documentation, and I've got a ton of it in this book alone of interview techniques. I show people we go through things like body language. Not just their body language, but your body language as well, because your body language is telling a story. If you send a dynamic resume to someone, as an example, and they read this thing and go, wow, this person is really sharp, and you show up for the interview and you sit back and you go, hi, how are you? I can't wait for the interview. They look at the resume and they look at you and go, these do not match.
Yeah.
Red flags all over the place. So if you have a dynamic resume, you need to get over yourself and be dynamic as well. Be able to show your value add. You're not there to demonstrate so much what your capabilities are, but your value, the tools you bring to the table, the value you extend to the team, ways that you can take this organization to the next level, and you talk that way.
Yeah.
That's what gets their attention.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That also helps you get over the interview thing, the fear. I went extreme one time. I had a lady that came in and she literally, when we talked about, we do mock interviews sometimes, she started crying and she was shaking all over, and I thought, what is wrong? So I asked her, is there a problem? She said, I cannot interview. I just can't. So I told her, I said, all right, I want you to do something. When's your next interview? She said, I got one tomorrow and I'm just not looking for it. I said, all right, don't go to the interview. She looked at me and she goes, what? I said, don't go to the interview. Let God go to the interview. You just tag along.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get into the interview, shut your mouth. Don't talk. Let God do the talking. It's hard to do. It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Infrequently, because it is very hard to do. But she did. She pulled it off. She went to that interview. She came back the next week. She brought in an homemade apple pie for me. She said, I got the job. And I said, well, good for you. How did the interview go? She said, I can't remember one question. I said, then you truly let God do the talking.
Oh, wow.
You did it. And so you've got that extreme. Oh, you've got the person that you have to say, tone it down. It's good. A little humor is good, but don't go in there as the class clown. You'll lose the job. You have to know when to do things and when not to do things. So we try to show that to people.
Yeah.
Try to show them, it might be okay for you to say, well, let me diagram that out to you and show you how that works. And you go up to their whiteboard and you diagram this big, fancy thing. I wouldn't advise you to do that unless you really, truly know what you're doing. I've done it, and it worked, but I truly knew what I was doing in the field I was interviewing for. I'm a subject matter expert there, so there was no problem.
Yeah.
But I left 5 key things off that diagram. You don't tell them everything, because I noticed the senior director was sitting there jotting down everything that I wrote on the board. So I left out 5 kind of major things. And then I just started erasing the board, and he'd stop me. What are you doing? I don't have that. I said, hire me, and you get the whole kit and caboodle plus.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you my whole toolkit. I got the job.
That's amazing.
So, but you just have to walk them through. You have to let them feel their own confidence. And one of the ways is I just ask them, tell me about your value. What kind of value do you have? And they'll look at you almost offended and say, well, I'm a great father. Oh, good. So you have leadership skills. Well, I manage my budget. Okay, you have budgeting capabilities. You have financial capabilities. Oh, I guess I do. Now all of a sudden their attitude kind of changes. Because they see that, oh, wait a minute. So it's really the way you look at this. I tell them, yes. It's how you perceive yourself.
You're empowering them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I've even at some point sat at the table and told people, what's wrong with you people? You don't see your own value? Really? You really don't see it? And if we have to get down to that level, we do. I've done that a few times, and it works. People just need to be told, it's okay. You can do this. And if you go in and blow the interview, so what? You got experience. And you know what you did wrong. Don't do it again. It's that simple. So I try to keep it as logical and practical as possible. And it just works.
So if somebody wanted to get involved here at St. Patrick, what would they need to do?
Show up. That's
Tuesday,
it.
Second and fourth Tuesday.
Yes.
Second and fourth Tuesday.
Second and fourth Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30. And bring a resume or not. It's good if you do. I critique resumes for people while we're going around the room. But then we talk about things that they need to hear. We start out with, what are your questions? You know, I've had people say, well, how do I get unemployment? You go to this website, you log in, you set up an account, it's all free. And now the way things are, you're getting an extra $600 a week. So you'd be silly not to do that, in my estimation. But we do have people that will not sign up for unemployment because of what they think there's a stigma attached to that. And I try to tell people, you know, if you can take advantage of food shelves, if you can take advantage of unemployment, if you can take advantage of humane, for lack of a better term, help and handouts, do it. Because now once you get back to work, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to hand back and to help other people who don't necessarily want that help. They're too proud to ask. I got over that real quick when I sat and looked at my two teenagers sitting at home, and my son couldn't get a Letterman jacket because I couldn't afford it, but he played in 3 sports. And my daughter couldn't go to prom because I couldn't afford a dress for her. And I thought, I need to swallow my pride here. So we went out, we got some help. Son got his jacket, my daughter went to prom, everything was fine. But then it was my turn to give back, and I did. You know, I'd go to Cub and buy $200 gift cards and take them over to the church and say, here, somebody comes in and needs help, give it to them. And it works. I mean, you got to pay it back. So.
And that's just awesome.
It's fun. It really is. It's been very rewarding for me to see some of the things that happen that are so far out there. It absolutely guarantees that God is in control. Because otherwise this stuff wouldn't happen. I had a lady that one night she was getting sick. And I asked her, I said, are you okay? She said, yeah, I'm just missing my diabetic injection. And I said, in your unemployment, do you have what you need? Well, no, I can't afford it. Wait a minute. Well, there was somebody else sitting at the table. Here's your networking. She was listening. She left the room and called a friend of hers who was a doctor who was looking for someone to be a receptionist at his office. She called him. He showed up at the meeting, walked in, and he looked at her, and he had a little bag with him. And he said, Mr. White, and I said, yeah, it's Richard, but yeah. He said, you have someone here that doesn't have their diabetic medication? I said, yeah, her. He said, lady, come with me.
Oh, wow.
I'm Dr. So-and-so. He left the room, they went across the hall. He gave her the injection she needed, and they talked for about, I'm gonna say 20 to 25 minutes, and she came bounding back in the room. He hired her on the spot. She said, I go to work tomorrow, and I get all the supplies I need for free. Yes! God did it. There wasn't a dry eye in that room that night.
I can't.
It really wasn't.
I'm about ready to lose it.
It was just, we were so excited for that lady. The only thing I ask people to do is once you get a job, I want you to come back one more time and bring cookies. And you get to share your excitement. And there's a reason for that. Other people can see that people are getting hired. And it gets them fired up. And it helps their attitudes. So they're more ready to go out and keep trying.
It has just been such a pleasure to be able to talk with you, and we could go on all day on the awesome content that you have and just the beautiful work that you're doing. And I'm really thankful that we got to talk today and you got to share some of your loving ministry with the people of the St. Patrick community. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. It was my pleasure.
And I encourage all of our viewers to ask questions if they have questions. Gain more information, take advantage of what we have through Richard here for our community, but also for others that our community members might know. It's not just
any type of job.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're CEO or working the mailroom. I've had all of it.
That's just really awesome. So thank you for the work that you do, and you're truly just the hands and feet of the Lord in such a loving and very practical way for these people.
Thank you.
So, yes. All right. Thanks for joining us this week, St. Patrick's, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon.